I'm Abby, and as always, we have our beautiful co-host, Ashley, and then we have another beautiful co-host joining us today. We have Miranda. Miranda, say hello.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. I'm Miranda. I'm also known as Exlibrismir on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. You might know me from Tolkien Tuesday videos, but thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you guys today.
Yes, we are so happy you're here, and I'm really glad you said your name, your handle name, because I struggle with. I'm like Exlibrismir. Did I go? Am I close?
I like that. You even had like a little bit of a rolling R in there, Abby.
Yeah, you made it sound way fancier, actually. But don't feel bad because like literally nobody knows how to say it until I say it. I should have picked a different username, to be totally honest with you. I should have changed it when I had a chance. But yeah, Exlibrismir. The Mir is just short for Miranda.
Oh,
I like it.
Maybe I can call you Miranda now because I'll be Exlibrismir.
You totally can.
There we go. It's funny when you think of your handles like for Twitter or for Instagram and stuff, you're like, haha, and then you do a fun one, then you're like, oh no. Like later on, you're like, I can't. It's not easy to change. It's like the reminiscent of the old time, like, what are they called? Like not AOL, but like the Messenger, MSN Messenger, screen names that you had, and then like, you were kind of stuck with this like funny Hotmail. That was it. Hotmail. That was the Hotmail.com. All the weird.
Some silly name that will identify you for longer than you want it to.
I know. You have to put it on resumes, and you're like, oh, I didn't. I should have changed this a long time ago. Okay. So, we're just going to hang out today, nerd out, have a good time. Basically, where it's more of a get to know you episode because Ashley introduced me to your page, and I've been, watching the videos that you have, and so I'm sure we've got a following around the world that listens to our podcast. So I'm sure there might be some new listeners and new followers for you from getting to know you from this podcast episode. So exciting! It's so fun to have you here.
Yeah.
So
our friends are your friends.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that. So to start us off, to kind of get to know you a little bit more in the realm of like social media and kind of that part you have to play in the fandom of Tolkien and Middle Earth and all the love for that and everything. So you've like kind of gone viral in the sense of like you just are kind of expressing your love of Tolkien and everything. But what was the thing that kind of like got you the more of your name out there, the following that you have on your across your social media? What was that thing that got you into the fandom world, I guess?
Honestly, it was not planned, and it was kind of a slow growth. Like, I started my social media honestly just to post book reviews, which was why my username was Exlibrismir, because it was literally just about like, I'm gonna read a bunch of fantasy books and just like randomly review them here. So when I decided to start actually making videos like of me talking about Lord of the Rings, because I just happened to love it and know all of this stuff that wasn't really useful otherwise, I didn't expect it to go anywhere or to be seen. It was just a little silly thing to do. And the first video I made was about Faramir because if any of you know me, you know that I love Faramir. And it also happened to be around the same time as like Hobbit Day, like Bilbo and Frodo's birthday. So I think because of the timing, the Tolkien fandom on Instagram was, looking for content, and and it got more views than I was expecting because of the timing of it all. So I started off sort of like shocked that anyone had seen my one video, and then started being like, oh, okay, I guess I'll make another one. And then just kind of slowly started not knowing what I was doing, but making one every week just for fun. And then very slowly growing. Like I suddenly hit like 1,000 people, and I was like, this is crazy. And then it just kind of those people would comment and would interact, and I would get to talk to them and comment with them. And then they, it started growing almost like a little community, very like organically. So yeah, it just was a slow growth. And then there were a few videos that went a little bit more viral, in quotes, like got a few more views than usual. And then that probably gave me a little bit of jump in the community. But it's been like 2.5 years now since I've been doing it. And so I'm very thankful that it's been a sort of like steady, slow growth in that time. Yeah, it's all been 100% unexpected though. And I've been flying by the seat of my pants because I had no idea how to do any of this, or like where it was going, or what the goal was. I kind of just started doing it, and then it started working out. So I was like, okay, I'll keep doing it.
So as a little goal, you're like, you know what I want to be one day when I grow up? A Tolkien content creator. That's what I want to be when I grow up.
Right. I didn't even know that was a thing, honestly. And then, yeah. And then slowly, because that was fun for me to make like Tolkien content, and then that was what was sort of getting interaction, I just pretty quickly stopped posting book reviews at all. And then it 100% just became about Tolkien, which like I'm fine with it because that's what I love the most. But yeah, it was definitely an unexpected thing.
And I personally, in my experience, it's way more fun to find people who like enjoy it, and you look like a person who enjoys being that content creator, enjoys like, oh, I want to talk to you about this, and like, stuff like that. So that's refreshing, and I love seeing that. So thank you. Thank you for your content.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it started off kind of like I was trying to be funny about it, but I don't think I'm actually naturally that funny of a person. So I started getting feedback about like thank you. I started getting feedback about people appreciating like just the way that I condensed information. And so I just sort of ran with that and tried to make that the focus. And so when people would say like, oh, I would love to know more about this random obscure thing, I would take it as like a challenge of like, all right, I'm going to try and give you like the core information you need in like 1.5 minutes. Because that was all I had on Instagram for a very long time, was only 1.5 minutes of time. And so it became, that was like the focus, was like, how much information can I give in a short amount of time that's like easy to understand for people who are new to it. And so that became like a focus for me, and that made it fun, was being able to like summarize things and be like, okay, I understand this, I want other people to understand this, like how can I make it easy for them to understand? And that became like the premise pretty much.
Yes. And it's
like your little investigative.
Yeah, it's such a like, I think it's for me as well as Ashley, it's kind of like a fun, what is it called? Like, not brain exercise, but kind of like you get to work out your brain for like a little bit. Like, ooh, how can I, like you said, in that time limit, but still be like really constructive of like explaining everything. And it's kind of like a puzzle, and it's like exciting to do it. So that's fun. I'm glad that like you're giving people that opportunity to get little, like, their questions answered, or those little nuggets of info that are, maybe they only have like a 10-minute work break, and they're like, and then they can watch you for a second, and then they can like go back to work, That's awesome.
And a lot of people have these brains now that turn off too much information and then just turn off. And you aren't, I would say, like, ha ha funny. Like, I'm not like busting my gut, but I would say you were very charming and you're very adorable with like
Yes.
your just little like, and then you can go about your day. I'm like, aw. You're welcome.
I'll run with that energy instead of trying too hard with any other energy.
No, I love it.
It's
Very
working
adorable.
for you. It's
Thank you.
perfect.
Yes.
So now that you've like you said, you have a following and you have it was like a steady growth and things like that. Do you have anything that happened like in your life that you can attribute to like that because of the Tolkien fandom or because of going viral, quote unquote viral? Like, for example, we talked to someone else and they say that they, found friends at work that they didn't know were watching their videos, and then they became friends because they had something in common, or another person got invited to like a premiere for something. But is there something that you're like, whoa, I got to do this, or this happened to me because of the Tolkien fandom, or because of like my place in the social media of Tolkien stuff?
Yeah, honestly, last year, the year of 2024, was like one of the most insane years of my life, and I can attribute it to me making this content on social media. Like when I started gaining a following and growing, like I started connecting with other content creators and making friends online with like some amazing Tolkien fans, which in itself was an amazing thing that came from this. Like I've made some true friends that are amazing and I love them to death. And that kind of made it feel even more like a community. But that, like, it grew to like actual opportunities. And the first one was, I started being on some other smaller podcasts, and then I was approached by the Rings of Power team. And so the Rings of Power team at Amazon Prime invited me to San Diego Comic-Con last year. And I live in Southern California, but I've never gone to Comic-Con because it's always just so huge and hard to get tickets and stuff like that. So it was my first time going and my first time meeting some of my online friends for the first time. And it was like the whole time I kind of had like imposter syndrome of just like, what am I doing here? This is insane to me. So yeah, I went to San Diego Comic-Con for Rings of Power last year, and we got to meet the cast and the creators and talk to them and make content based on it. We got to see panels about it. We got to just generally be in like a very Tolkien inspired setting for like together for a long period of time. During that time, Sean Astin was at Comic-Con just for some other thing, and I waited in line to like get his autograph. And then I was with another creator who I think you guys actually have talked to. His name is Airplane Facts with Max.
We love Max.
Yeah, I do
so
too.
great.
He's a good friend of mine. So we were at Comic-Con together, and we were waiting in line to get autographs and pictures with Sean Astin, and it just organically happened that Max mentioned he was a content creator, and I happened to be there too, and so both of us got to shoot video content with Sean Astin like completely spontaneously at Comic-Con, just because he was so gracious and was like, yeah, come on, let's make a video. And I was like, oh my god, what? So just like insane opportunities like that. So Comic-Con was the first thing that happened because of this, and even just that, I was like, this is so insane. And then later that year, I was approached by the War of the Rohirrim team. And so for War of the Rohirrim from Warner Brothers, I was invited to New York Comic-Con. And so I had never been to New York before, so that was also a big first for me. I got to fly to New York. I got to hang out with some of the same content creators that I had become friends with, and then meet a bunch of new ones as well. We got to do some really specific activities, like we got to go to the panels that were hosted by Stephen Colbert. We got to interview Philip Boyens and the voice actors from More Than Rohirrim. So that was another insane opportunity. After, like, literally the next day after New York Comic Con, I flew to Ohio to go to a convention specifically to meet David Wenham, who plays Faramir, because he.
And did you die? Did you die?
I absolutely died. He doesn't come to America that often for cons, and so that's why I randomly went to this con in Cincinnati, specifically because he was going to be there, and took pictures with him, and I gave him a friendship bracelet, and he also agreed to shoot a video for me. And that was like a dream come true, and that was incredible. And then the sort of capstone to that year of like amazing opportunities was the same thing with the War of the Rohirrim team. They invited me to the world premiere of War of the Rohirrim in London. So December of last year, I got flown to London to go to that premiere. And again, had some really cool like workshops and activities that they had planned that were very Tolkien themed, and connecting with even more Tolkien fans and Tolkien creators. Walking the red carpet, seeing the movie. I got to meet Peter Jackson because they arranged for him to surprise us before the premiere and talk to us, which was like, I like cried so much after meeting him. Yeah. So yeah, I literally, like, it's been, 5 months into this year, and I continuously reminisce on all of the frankly insane opportunities that I had last year that I never expected, like never sort of would have thought would happen, but all came to me just because of like the strength of the community and like the sort of closeness of the community online, and like just me sticking with it and making content. And so it's been like, I've been pinching myself like continuously, because it's just been like, I haven't expected any of it, and it's been like mind-blowing for me.
That's amazing.
What
an incredible experience. Yeah.
Mind-blowing. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. I would have been like, I don't even know how I'd have handled any of that. Wow, that's
I was
crazy.
trying to like not be in shock for most of it.
Live in the moment.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. That's so cool. I'm not at all jealous. I'm fine.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's crazy. That's so cool. Okay, but how, like, meeting Sam and Faramir, how was that though? Was it good? Was it amazing?
Oh my gosh. It was. Sean Astin is like the sweetest person on the planet. Like, he had like a long line of people waiting to like get autographs from him, and he like his sort of management that was there with him, you could tell were kind of like, we have to keep the line moving, and he was completely just like, oh my god, like, oh, you're friends with Airplane Facts with Max, like, let's make a video. And I was like, I don't know what to say, I'm not prepared. And he was like, you're doing great, and like put his arm around me and was like, what's great about Tuesdays? It's Tolkien Tuesday. And I was like, oh my god, like, what is this? You're so nice. He was amazing. So nice.
Oh, dad energy. He's got that like big brother, like comforting energy.
Yes.
And how was it to
comforting,
meet Faramir?
so gracious, super nice. That was like a little more structured, because it was like I went there and like paid money to like get his autograph and stuff. But I have a tattoo of Faramir's name on my arm. And
you're
I was
committed.
wearing a shirt with Faramir's face on it, and he saw it, and he was just like, I've never seen a shirt like that before. Can I take a picture of it? And I was like, okay. And he like took a picture of my shirt with his phone, and then I like showed him my tattoo. He was like, can I take a picture of that too? And I was like, of course you can. Like,
so, yeah. Have all of me. How did he think it was?
You want my arm? You can have my arm. Here you go.
Which was crazy. Like, I'll cut it off for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I, on my Instagram, on my little bio or whatever in the description on Instagram, I put like the CEO of Team Faramir, just because I started making like Faramir Friday as like a joke, because I wanted other people to love Faramir. And I told him about it, and so he signed an autograph for me, and he put CEO of Team Faramir, like on the autograph, and it was just like, ah, yeah,
That's amazing.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, that's so great. That's so cool. Ashley,
yeah.
we gotta step it
It was
up.
so
We gotta
nice.
get these like cool opportunities.
I know.
I know.
These kids, though, man. Like,
These kids.
step up our Patreon and get a really cool nanny or something.
So,
Sean Astin will watch the kids, and then
yes, that's it. That's it.
I
So-
totally trust him with it.
Actually, I would trust Gandalf. I feel like he babysits a lot. Like that character has to
I feel like
babysit
he fall
a lot of
asleep.
people.
I think I get them into trouble, to be honest, though.
I know. One of my favorite fan art pieces. She's currently gone up and being very, very popular. But when she was back in like early 2008, she did this really funny drawing of Gandalf, and he has all the dwarves, like it's the Hobbit, so it's like all 13 of them, and they're all in those kid leashes. Like he's like has them like he's walking like, all the dwarves with the kid leashes, and then Bilbo's in a little front pack carrier, like he's like holding like in the front like a little baby.
A baby Bjorn.
Yeah, and then the caption is "Don't get tangled, don't get tangled," and they're like fighting and like playing with like swords, and he has like this whole like handful of both hands of leashes. I'm like, it's my favorite. I want to get a little print of it because I love it so much. Anyway, sidetrack. It's very cute. I'll have to find it, maybe post it on our Instagram because I love it so much. But so
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it, so
yeah, I'll tag you. How about that? We'll tag you. So
great.
to get to know you a little better, like you personally, the question is, how did you get started, like in the world of Tolkien? Like, do you remember as a child a singular memory of like picking up the book in the library, or maybe like your mom or dad gave you the book, or do you have a singular memory of being introduced into Middle Earth?
What's your Tolkien origin story?
Yeah, totally. I'm actually one of those people who was introduced to Tolkien through the movies before the books. I'm a millennial, so I was like 10, 11-ish when the movies were coming out. So my origin story was my parents were going out of town and they left me at my grandparents' house, and they were like, what do we do with this child for this long? Let's take her to the movies. So they took me to see the Two Towers in theaters, which like I hadn't even seen The Fellowship. I knew nothing about it. It was just like, I'm gonna go watch this movie, and I was like, I don't want to watch that movie. I was 11 at the time, and they took me to this movie, and literally just within the span of that movie and then leaving the theater, like I ended up feeling like that world was like I couldn't forget about it. Like being in the world, like the music and the scenery and sort of like just like the feeling from watching the Two Towers, like it stuck with me for so long after coming out of the movie. And I kind of was like, no, like I need to like know more about this. And so after that, I like went and made my parents buy me or rent me, probably at like Blockbuster, the first one, so that I could watch the first one. And then like that was, just as enthralling for me. And then it also was because it was at that time, there was like all of the actors were in like the teen magazines. So I bought like magazines that had like Orlando Bloom and Elijah Wood in it, and like pictures from like them surfing in New Zealand. And then at like
that covered my binders in middle school. That was the covers of my binders in middle school. My locker.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like, at the bookstores, they had like all the merch. Like I have like a little notebook that looks like the book, the Red Book of Westmarch, and like bookmarks with Merry and Pippin on them, and like, little Eowyn things. Like it just very quickly became something that I was kind of obsessed with. And so after becoming obsessed through the movies, I decided to read the books. And so I read the books when I was about 12, before the Return of the King film came out. So like I watched the second movie and then the first movie, and then I read the books, and then I saw the third movie when it came out. So it was very strange order, probably compared to most people. But through reading the books is actually where I fell in love with Faramir, because that was when I kind of was just like, how is this character so good? Like, he's just such a good person. Like, I love him. So then I was one of those people who, The Return of the King came out and I saw it in theaters, and I was one of those people that was like, this isn't how it's supposed to end. Like, what about the scouring of the Shire? Like, that reaction as like a 13-year-old or whatever at that time. Yeah. So that was how it started, and I don't know exactly what it was that like made me so easily fall in love with it, but I was like completely immersed after watching The Two Towers for the first time. And then
what a wild way to start it.
I ended up
like
when you
watch the Fellowship of the Ring, you're like, oh, like I would feel like, what is happening? Good on you though that you stuck with it. But
it worked, I guess. I don't know.
You reminded me.
Makes sense that you like Faramir, though.
I happen to have it right here because my mom. She's like, I don't want this in my house anymore. So she gave me all my stuff from middle school. But I don't know if you can see them.
I was thinking of those, Abby.
Oh, amazing.
I can't believe you still have those.
I know, jealous. Right? But
I love that.
And then I have but look at the biggest one I have. Look at the biggest one I have.
Oh my god. I'm so jealous. I want that.
But like, I remember, weren't those at your like the library, your school library? Like, I just like thinking back now, like, oh, what a wasted opportunity.
My sweet angel of a librarian gave me all of them because she knew what a nerd I was. And she's like, no one's taking these. You can have all of them. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any of those. My library was slacking, apparently.
But I just had to show you, and his dad's on the back.
Oh, well, that's, we can accept it.
We'll put this against the wall. You can't see that guy. You don't see that guy.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But like, good on you for sticking around.
You should post it on Faramir Friday.
Oh yes, I'll send you a picture. Good for you for sticking with it, with going through the Two Towers first, and being like, you know what? I liked that. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on. Because honestly, that's like a very like huge chunk of the story that's literally in the middle. And like everything's going on. People are separated. Like all the like, wow. Good job. Good job keeping with it and like going forward.
Yeah. And actually because of that, The Two Towers is probably still my favorite of the three movies, and like some of that is probably nostalgia, but like I don't know what it is about it that stuck with me so much, but I still absolutely love The Two Towers. Like,
I mean, Two Towers is my
even
favorite
just on its own.
Yeah.
Because I think I just love the dynamics even of them broken up. Like the whole like Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, like three hunters like trio, like love that. Obsessed, love it so much. Merry and Pippin like together, obsessed. Like even though they're separated, like I think individually like they're so like charming and so like interesting in very, very different ways. Like I don't know. I love it.
Like I love
this is probably going to date me as well. I mean, you brought up Blockbuster. Oh, there you go.
I'm saying I like how they just combined them. Like that.
I think I can't even remember the streaming name. I mean, like there was Napster for music, but may have illegally downloaded The Two Towers before it was out. And so I like watched it on like repeat, like that whole summer, like just over and over and over and over again. And that, yeah, I think that's why it's so, it's my favorite as well, just because it's just so good.
Yeah. And then, as I'm sure a lot of people like in the DVD generation, like share the same experience, but when the extended edition DVDs came out, that was sort of like a big thing. And so I had my parents buy the extended DVDs like every time they would release them. And then I became absolutely obsessed with the special features. Like I would watch all of the appendices special features of like the making of the films, like pretty much weekly. I would watch them.
That's amazing.
And I became obsessed with like what a workshop and like filmmaking and like the ins and outs of like how they made the movies. And then I would constantly watch the movies like on repeat with the commentary track turned on, like the cast commentary track. Like I'm sure my parents were really, really sick of it because I would watch the Lord of the Rings movies and the special features literally all the time, like weekly, just on repeat. I would watch
Were you
them.
an only child?
No, I have an older brother, and he shared my love of that sort of like the movies. Like he would also rewatch the movies with me
Okay.
quite a lot, and we would make a lot of inside jokes about like the commentary, and he and I would like end up like dramatically reenacting some of the scenes from the movie, like as like I would be Legolas and he would be Aragorn, kind of a thing.
That's
But
adorable.
but he didn't. I think he had so many other like things going on that he didn't become quite as stuck in it as I did. So he's a Lord of the Rings fan, but not quite to the level that I am. But definitely during that era, he was in it with me.
See, the reason I ask is like I can't even imagine dominating the TV because in this day and age, I mean, that sounds weird that only one TV, one device, but back in our day, that's how it was. And to say to my brothers, "Hey, I want to watch Lord of the Rings extended edition with commentary," I would have been beaten up. Like that's just like the time alone.
ESPN only. ESPN March Madness highlights. You get out of here, nerd. That was Ashley's house.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, that my house wasn't like that.
Lucky.
So, speaking of me pulling out these fun things and knowing that most people who love a fandom have some fun collections or dragon hoards, as we like to say, of their fun things that they've collected throughout their life that have to do with whatever fandom they're in. I'm assuming that you probably have some fun things. Do you have something that is like your prized possession of your Tolkien collection or something that's like very special to you? And if you can show it, that'd be awesome. If not, if it's somewhere else, that's totally fine. And second part to the question, is there a holy grail item that you're like, if I won the lottery, this is what I would get, or I'm on the search for this thing? So
I'm not as big of a collector as I know some people are. Some people like collecting is like the whole thing that they do, which is amazing. I do have a bit of a collection. My prized possession is probably I have the United Cutlery sword replica of Faramir's sword. So that was the first like full sword that I ever got for myself. And I was amazed that they even made Faramir's sword because you really don't see it that often in the movies, right. And it doesn't, it's not a named sword or anything like that. But I have Faramir's sword on my wall, and I love that to death. I recently just got Eowyn's sword to go with it. So I started collecting swords, which like when I was a kid, I used to beg my mom to get me a sword at the Renaissance fair, and she always would say like, "You don't need a sword." And now I have swords, so it worked out. And then another thing that like was the thing that I do have close by that I can show is like when I first read the books, they were my brother's copies of the books, and then I don't know where those went, and so I ended up buying on eBay that's the same copies because they meant a lot to me, like nostalgia wise, and like they're not the fancy ones by any means, but I'm sure you're aware of them. But they're these like movie cover versions. Like I literally bought this like mass produced, mass market movie cover set of the books exactly. Yep. From eBay because I really like this is the first set I ever read of them, and so I like needed to have them again. So yeah,
I have two towers because I didn't want this one. I'm like I'd rather have oh wait no sorry I'd rather have Aowen because
I literally bought this Legolas one separately because I didn't want the Saruman one. So the Saruman one's on my bookshelf, and I kept the Legolas one with the set. That's why, like, the Legolas one is, like, the pages are darker because I bought it separately.
Okay, I've got...
I'm like, but I don't know what to do with this. I don't want it to look like there's, like, 4 books. So I'm trying to decide what to do.
I've got ugly Saruman on mine. Yeah. Darn it.
You like Saruman?
I don't got the cool one. I don't got the cool version. But that's funny that we all have these.
It sounds like we're around the same age that we were seeing the movies in the theaters as 10, 11. I don't remember how old we were, Abby. Abby and I are like months apart. So, but yeah, it's very similar that the movies is what hooked us. And then, because then that was like the awesome summer of all the movies, or all the like awesome few summers of like movie. Yeah. And it was that with Harry Potter and Star Wars and all the other fandoms were putting out all the amazing movies that we basically built our lives around and our whole identities around that.
Yeah. It's honestly an amazing era to be a nerdy child.
Like, heck yes. Although it wasn't quite as condoned, I would say, to be such a nerdy child. I didn't like most of my school friends weren't into it as much as I was. Like I had Abby, but she lives 4 hours away from me. So I was just like, I'm going to have my own little Lord of the Rings cover at school, but no one's going to know what it is.
Yeah. My best friend, that I still have to this day that I met in high school, we met through like being in marching band together, but we worked on a project together as freshmen, and I went to her house to work on this project, and she had a cardboard cutout of Legolas in her bedroom. And I was just like, I didn't know you liked Lord of the Rings. And she was like, oh, I love Legolas. And I was just like, you are my soulmate. Like, it was like, like a really defining moment, I think, for us.
She had kept it secret all that time. Like, and you have to, it's one of those nerd choices, and that people don't understand, like, how much of my nerdiness do I let out? Like whenever I'm wearing like a Tolkien like shirt or sweatshirt or something like that, and someone's like, oh, I like your shirt. And I'm like, how much do I let out right now?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was obsessed.
Yeah, she sounds like a cool friend to have a full cutout of. She sounds like a cool friend to have a full cutout in her room.
Yeah, it was impressive to me because I didn't have cardboard cutouts, and I was like, I need to get one of those. But I went through the same thing of like I was obsessed, and then like during like college, I kind of was like, oh, I need to maybe not make this as loud as usual. And so I kind of like subdued the fact that I was obsessed with Lord of the Rings, and then it wasn't until I was like in my adulthood that I was like, no, we're gonna make this very known.
100%. 100%.
The same.
It's okay to be a nerd. It's okay.
Yeah, I was the same way where like my husband, when we met, I think he kind of knew, and I was like, yeah, I just like what? Goodbye, husband. There's a husband right there. Just kind of
We're
like,
talking about you. Go away.
Go away. I'm talking about you. Just like he kind of knew, but then he also was kind of shy about his nerdiness as well. And then we like came together, and it was a beautiful nerdy marriage.
I love that. That's beautiful.
So, I think you've mentioned that you love Faramir as like your top dude, like your top character. And we love this question because people have given us the like most like thought-provoking answers that I'm like, I never would have thought of that for you. But this is a two-parter question again. Is what character in the whole realm of the Tolkien universe, so Silmarillion, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, whatever, which character would you want to be? Do you want to be like, oh, that'd be so cool? But which character are you most like realistically?
Mm. I think want to be, I have to sort of like hope that this means that like maybe we live in a world where like magic exists and stuff like that. But like, I think if I could choose a character I would want to be, it would be Melian from the Silmarillion.
Interesting choice.
Because I just love like the mixture that Melian has of being like extremely wise, but also being like extremely ethereal and magical and sort of like protecting people, and then also just like constantly giving advice to her husband that is never listened to but should be.
Thing
But
not handling.
yeah. But probably just like the mixture between like grace and magic and strength and wisdom that Melian has, and then like a connection to nature that Melian has, is something that I wish I could have in a world that maybe magic exists. The character I most like, younger, I would have told you Eowyn, because I very much like tried to sort of like change myself after the style of Eowyn's sort of like strength and stubbornness and like her motivations in life. But I don't know if I've quite achieved the status of Eowyn in life.
It's hard.
Sometimes I'm very much like Pippin, to be honest with you.
Okay. You ruin everything.
Yeah, I'm just constantly causing problems for everyone around me. Mostly in the sort of like, well, like enjoying life and like, I don't know, maybe I also just admire Pippin. Maybe I'm not good at answering this question and knowing because I love Pippin and I love
there's
that
no wrong answer.
That he like has such an influence on like changing the world without realizing it, and sort of like just going through life like however he can and then trying to enjoy life, and then, you know, that being enough. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I see
I'll
it.
go with that.
I see it. Yeah. I feel like Pippin, you know, that whole thing about hobbits being underestimated and like keep them away from the fighting, keep them, you know, back and stuff like that. But then they do things to help out that might not necessarily be always like stabbing somebody with a sword, but they are there and helping out and they want to help and like all that stuff. That's a good one. I agree with that one.
Thank you.
I like that. But also living his best life at the same time, though.
True.
I like that.
And he has a BFF.
Yeah.
And he's great. So, I mean, top choice. So another character themed question. You've probably heard there's like a game, like a celebrity game that people play, like when they pick out different celebrities of like they'd want to kiss, marry, kill them. You've probably heard of that game before.
Mhm.
We have a different version. Ours is out of all the characters in the Tolkien world, which would you have a pint at the Green Dragon with? Who would you go into battle with, ride into battle with? And third, who would you sail to the Undying Lands with?
Okay. I think
Take your time. Take
I
your time.
would have a pint with I'm gonna say Bilbo.
Ooh, good choice. Young Bilbo or old Bilbo?
I would say like post Hobbit Bilbo, but like
Okay.
not Lord of the Rings Bilbo, like middle-aged
Okay.
Bilbo. So that I could, because I'm sure I would just want to listen to his stories. Like I just would want to hear Bilbo's stories like over a pint, I think.
Yeah, I like it.
Kind of like how he would tell stories to like Frodo and Sam and Merry and Pippin. And I think he would enjoy that, so I'm gonna go with that.
He would. He would.
Right into battle with gosh.
I love these questions. We
It's
get
so
such different
hard.
answers every time.
I know, because there's so many like amazing sort of like leaders in the Silmarillion that I feel like I could pick, but like things go really badly for all of them. So like I don't know if I need to like think about the aftermath. Because I would say like maybe like Finrod, like because he kind of, you know, he's a good guy to follow, but like I don't know if I want to sign up for that life. Like an easy answer would probably be Aragorn, just because I also just really admire everything that he, you know, stands for and fought for throughout his lifetime.
And you know he's okay in the end.
I'm sure that's a basic answer, but yeah,
and
I don't have to worry about like some sort of cataclysmic like aftermath.
True.
And then sail to the Undying Lands with. I have to choose Faramir.
I was gonna say, if you chose anybody else,
I was waiting for him on your list. Okay.
I would have been.
I love him.
Very surprised.
I would have had to give away my CEO title if I hadn't picked him.
Right. I would say so.
True. Yeah.
True.
But definitely.
So with Eowyn, or are you Eowyn in the circumstance?
If I could be Eowyn, that would be great. But like honestly, if she has to come, I accept that as well. It's fine. It's fine.
I love that. I could share. I could share.
You could share.
Yeah.
I find it like whenever anybody's like, "Oh, who had I run into battle with?" Like they kind of had the same answers. He's like, that didn't work out. No, they didn't live. Like all this stuff. I'm like, what if it was just like a happy story, and then like they did live, and you got to like hang out with them
at the prime of their time?
Yeah,
you could pull them out of their plot line, and they would be the person in battle with you.
Yes, that's how it goes.
Does that change your answer?
If it's like go into battle and then we don't all die horribly,
yes,
then maybe like
just like based on their personality, their skills, what they stand for, I guess. Yeah. But like, yeah, prime person, you just pull them out of their plot line that they're in, and they just, you know.
Is it cheating to say like via Eonway?
No,
like
Eonway's a good one. I didn't even think about Eonway. Ooh, that's a good one. I like it.
I like that. It's almost like a cheat code just because he's so like skilled, but I think I would
Not a
go with
cheat code. I said I would ride into Huon, and we would kill everyone.
that's fair and a great companion.
I know.
Right? You
Okay,
have my
but
back.
I was just because that answer just flew into my brain. I would love to see somehow like Peter Jackson-esque or like even Rings of Power-esque the fight scene, that war of all the Maiar and the Valar fighting, like coming in that battle scene.
That changed
and there's
literally
like,
the face of the whole world.
yes. That'd be so cool. Anyway.
That we get like,
I'm-
and then they went into battle. Moving along.
And
It's
you're
like
like,
that,
no!
is it Game of Thrones where like they are going into battle and then Tyrion like gets knocked in the head with something and then like he wakes up and the battle's over and you're like, they just ran out of money for that one, right?
when it's like the Battle of Five Armies, and it's just like, and that's the last thing Bilbo remembered. And then he woke up, and they won the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you though.
want more.
I'm kind of obsessed with the Valar and the Maiar, and like, it's my dream to like see it somehow on screen, like animated, film, whatever. Like, I just want to see like the Valar, like either like just like the sort of like the Valar and Feanor and like the War of the Jewels, or just like the War of Wrath, or like anything. Like, I just want to see how that would be imagined, like all of the Maiar and all of the Valar. Like, I'm obsessed.
I want the creations and like how somehow they like get their, I want to say personalities. That's not the right word, but their power, their thing. I can't think of what it.
They're like essence from
Yeah. Like all of a sudden, like you see these like this like musical notes or something like that, and all of a sudden one turns kind of like watery, and all of a sudden you see this like being appear, and it's just like Arome and all of his awesomeness, or Olmo. Sorry, not Arome. Olmo. I know who my Valors are. I just get them mixed up because they sound all similar. And then you have another one that's like a freaking like Warhammer comes in. It's like Tulkas, you know.
Yeah, I would love to see like the Ainulindale in general, but like I feel like it would be the hardest thing to actually like capture, because I feel like it's something that like everyone imagines differently, because it's so like abstract that like I would love to see it in either way, but it's just one of those things where people would be so mad because it would not be how they pictured it, but like how can you possibly know? But it would be beautiful, I think, to like imagine like music coming into sort of like music becoming visuals, becoming like sentient.
Yeah. I think of Fantasia a lot. Like the
That's
OG
what I was just
Fantasia.
thinking of, like where the sounds make different shapes and stuff. Yeah.
Guys,
we'll make it there, Miranda. We'll make it.
Yeah. Let's go.
Collab.
I like it.
That helps jump into our next question, which is, who is your favorite Valar or Maiar, and why do you love them so much?
I will say, when we were first introduced to them, Abby and I picked who we would be, and we also picked our husbands.
Yeah. So why is who is your favorite as well?
Do they have to be like actually married?
No.
Canon?
Mine just happens to be married. I like, for example, I like Nessa. I just love her dancing queenness. And like Tulkas, I'll take Tulkas too. Like that works for me. But it doesn't have to be like almost freaking a loner, but he could be your husband.
I think like my favorite Valar is Mondo. But it's because I love like a brooding, mysterious, quiet character. Like I'm one of those people who's always drawn to that. So like in the Silmarillion, all the times that Mondos is just like, I told you guys what would happen and you didn't listen, I'm gonna be over here. I'm just like, tell him, Mondos, I got your back. Like I love him. and his little brooding omen-y self. And so, like, because of that, I honestly lean towards, like, I could be, like, Vire and, like, marry Mondos as well. I'd be cool with that, because I feel like Vire does a very cool thing, but I also feel like it might be sad.
Yeah.
My other choice, if I could be a Valar, would be to be, Arda.
Arda's a good one.
I like, yeah, the stars. I like her power. I like that Melkor was afraid of her.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to marry Monway, so
No, that's
I would still just
whatever
be with
universe
Mondo.
we're making right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I would still be with Mondo.
He's
I
like,
love that.
he has too many birds. Have you seen his house? Our house is covered with birds. So many. He's one of those weird bird people.
Yeah, couldn't handle that. Feathers everywhere.
He's like, come on, guys.
I just feel like Monway would be too serious. It would be like he wouldn't understand, or like, you know, like he would lead and he wouldn't let you in. You would be officially below him. I don't know why I feel that, but that's how I feel.
I also feel like he would be boring.
Yeah, so boring. So boring.
Like,
with
just like
all his birds.
Like, I only see the good. I'm just like, Monway, be real.
Yeah. That's where Mando comes in. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Great answer.
Good job. I agree. So to kind of jump back to what you were talking about with that you got invited to the Rings of Power premiere thing. So we're huge fans of Rings of Power. I know in the community there's kind of like a divide, which is like people have opinions. We are on the positive side of loving it, and we you know, have reviewed it on this podcast and stuff like that. But I'm assuming you've seen it or up to date with watching it. So what do you feel was like your favorite thing that they brought into the series, and what was something maybe you're like, they didn't get that correct, but I'll let it slide. And then you know, if there was any like fun Easter egg things that you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they added that. That's so cool. I didn't think that they could add that. Or like for me personally, I thought it was so fun when they kept slipping in Valar and Maiar names. Like Durin and Disa are like, Owley's beard, like things like that. I'm like, yay! I know who that is.
Yeah.
So what did you love about it? What did you not love about it? Like, what's your take on Rings of Power?
Yeah, I like Rings of Power. I obviously have heard all of the opinions that everyone has about Rings of Power. It's not perfect, but I really enjoy it. Honestly, the thing that I was like so stoked about, that was like, it's like small, but I was like, it was like such a focus for me, was I was so happy that they put Círdan the shipwright in season 2. Like,
yes.
I have so much love for Círdan. Like, he's one of those side characters that I'm just obsessed with. So the fact that we got Círdan, and that I absolutely loved like how they portrayed Círdan, like I was so pleased just to like have little snippets of Círdan in my life.
How did you feel about the beard, though? I have to ask, because that was a contentious point that people had, and then him literally shaving it with a seashell later. Like,
yeah,
okay.
Like the beard. I mean, if they hadn't given him a beard, I would have been upset. Like, it would have been that would have been something that I would have been like, no, like he has to have a beard. Like, literally, he has a beard. He has to have a beard. If they hadn't given him a beard, that would have bothered me. Him shaving it was an odd choice, but it didn't bother me. I kind of was like, you could see that happening. If you're one of the only elves to have a beard, you're probably going to shave it sometimes. Like, oh man, I'm fine with it.
Sorry, I just had to
so,
ask.
yeah, no, I am very pro Círdan beard. Very happy with that. It could have been longer. It could have been a longer beard, I think.
He's pretty old. He's seen lots of stuff.
Yeah. But maybe he had already shaved it with a shell and it was grown out to that length, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, love Círdan. Would love to see so much more Círdan if I can, even though we don't need to, but I would love it. Something I didn't love about Rings of Power was in season 1, like the mystery that they had about like that broken sword, and then the reveal that the broken sword was just like some sort of key to unlock a dam, and then the water somehow created Mordor. Like that seemed like an odd choice to me. And I could have done without that, because I feel like you could have done so many cooler things with a broken sword, and using a sword as a key to unlock a dam is weird to me. So,
and it wasn't very explained very well. Yeah.
Yeah, that like really like was one of the only things where I was just like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And then it just led me to
pretty
like
much that.
The Theo hate in me. I'm sorry to the actor who played him, but I was like, kid, just get off the screen. I don't like you. Please leave. Like, also, who hates you in the hair wig department enough to put that wig on you, boy? Because that was an awful wig.
Yeah,
that was so
that
bad.
was an unfortunate wig. Yeah. And I'm sorry, what was the last part of the question?
Like, what was a fun
your favorite Easter egg?
That you didn't know they would add it? That they were like, oh, they got the right, or they somehow could add that to it, or things like that.
Yeah. One thing that I loved was during like the sacking of Eregion, there's a moment where like the orcs are like collecting like manuscripts and burning them, and Elrond has like a visceral reaction to like protect the like texts, and like I feel like it's such a perfect thing for that Elrond would do as like a lore master, that like even that one choice, I was just like, yes, that's so Elrond. He would care about like preserving that history. Like I love that so much. So that really stood out to me, where I was just like, yes, like props to you. And then also there was a conversation between like Elrond and Galadriel, where they literally mention like hearing music and music being involved in sort of like creation, and like it was really like a passing mention of like the music of something. I don't remember the line, but like the subtle mention of like music being a part of like how the world works, I think was like a nice touch.
Yeah, that's a good part.
I have to rewatch. I don't remember that part.
It was
I don't remember that
Elrond, it was in season 2 when Elrond had gone to like hang out with Círdan for a while, and then Galadriel went to try to find him, and then went to like find him, and where like it's like they're in where all the boats are being made.
Yeah,
that's what
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The scene with the burning, I love that too, because I felt like that is a very Elrond response. But I'm like, you just said the orcs don't care about that. That like, oh no, you're gonna burn the history. Like the worst, like he said, like the thing that like almost like triggered them more. If he had said, your master would be really mad if you burned those. Like, let's think a bit here, Elrond. Let's use what know your audience.
I know.
They don't care about history.
Yeah. That part made me sad, because I'm like, no,
that was my only complaint with that part.
I was like, you're saying all the wrong things. No.
Yeah.
Elrond is my guy. Elrond, like, if you're the CEO of Team Faramir, I'm the CEO of Team Elrond, because I love him so much. But
I respect that.
when they were burning the books. I'm like, no, my sweet boy, his heart's being broken. I was like, I can't handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I both love people who go through a lot of sadness, unfortunately.
Well, who doesn't in the Silmarillion or the, Lord of the Rings?
True.
True.
But
it's very rare.
Elrond's one of my favorite parts of Rings of Power. Like I love Elrond and Rings of Power. I think it's so great. And like when we were at the meeting them and we were at the events for Comic-Con, like I was most excited to try to meet Robert Aramayo just because I love him, because he's a big Tolkien nerd too. So I really wanted to talk to him, and I actually got to, and we talked about the Silmarillion a little bit, and it was amazing. And he liked one of my videos once, which was a crazy experience for me. But anyway,
he knows who I am.
Yeah. I would pass away.
Yeah,
I'd be like, goodbye. It was a nice life.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He was very shy, but very nice.
Oh, he's shy in real life?
Mm-hmm.
I'm normal about this. Okay.
Totally normal.
So we have the end of this podcast. We have kind of like a quick fire conspiracy theory. What are your thoughts? Questions. Okay. And Ashley starts us off because it's her personal favorite of what
I
people
have
think.
I do. It's my personal favorite because, okay, so I'm one of those type A personalities. I like to have things make sense in my brain. One of the things that will never make sense in my brain. What are your thoughts on the Stone of Eric? Why? What? Why? What purpose? Why?
I also tend to lean towards being someone who I want things to make sense, and but with that, if they don't make sense, if it's not very blatantly this is what it is, I actually try not to theorize too much, because I'm well, it's not in there, so I guess we're not supposed to know.
Yeah,
so I don't do a lot of conspiracy theory or fan theorying. So I'm so sorry, I'm probably disappointing you, but I don't have very strong feelings about the Stone of Eric. I'm kind of just
Okay.
you know what? It's a mystery.
Fine.
We're not sure. It's just one of those things where you're oh, why is the Seed of Seeing magical? Don't know. Okay.
It's one of these.
Our favorite answer so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Pretty much every male that we have asked this question to, they're men like rocks. It's a thing. That. That's what I said.
Yeah, that is fair.
I like that boulder.
All right, next question.
A cool boulder.
Nice.
Stick it next to that boulder. It's a special boulder.
Yes.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how annoying is Turin?
Oh my god. Probably an 8.
Okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't give him full marks because I still kind of feel sorry for him, because some of the stuff he goes through is not his fault, but so much of it is that he still has to be pretty high up on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone more annoying than Turin?
That's a good question. Maybe
he's only in there for a second, but the bully guy of Turin was annoying. I didn't like that guy.
Cyros?
Yes.
Yeah, he's pretty annoying. Mygleam is pretty annoying.
We have a thought that they would just live in Hot Topic and just be angsty and depressed and just nobody understands me.
Yeah.
Then have an angst off.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I guess there's not that many contenders for like someone more annoying than Tyrion. I just feel bad giving him like a 10 because I just feel kind of sad about him.
He was kind of set up for failure.
Well, absolutely, yeah. But then also, like, he made such bad choices.
100%.
It's my joke that he didn't get hugged enough as a child. His mom didn't give him enough hugs.
Yeah.
What if
Mom wasn't a hugging type, though.
No.
I
His
know.
sister was too
I know.
lively. He couldn't compete. Yeah, I mean, his dad was being tortured. Like,
Yeah.
And he was always hanging out with the elves if he was home. Come on.
Yeah.
Another scale of 1 to 10. How unfair was Beleg's death?
oh my god, a 10.
I love these visceral reactions we're getting.
Like, that's so sad. Like, justice for Beleg, like, for real. Justice for Beleg, because that just like hits you like straight in the heart when that happens. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He was just trying to be a good foster elf dad.
Yeah.
And to a boy who probably didn't deserve it, but
no, what's that program that they have in like cities? It's like Big Brother, Big Sister programs where they like take like like sad kids under their wings. He was Beleg and Turin were the Big Brother program, and it didn't turn out very well. Who else would be in the Big Brother Big Sister program? Who else would be? What's that elf lady that taught Turin in the woods? What's her name?
I always forget her name.
Do you remember her name? She like was an introvert and she like lived. She was a hermit, not a hermit, but like she didn't want to be like in houses and stuff or buildings.
She didn't like the inside. It's like Yavanna, but not.
She would be
Nellis.
Something like that.
Okay, something like that.
She would be in the
I'm gonna like think of it like mid activity later.
She would be in the Big Sister program. And then who was the other like
Maedhros and the other brother that adopt the Elrond and the brother.
Yes, them too.
That's such a sad one.
We have a joke.
Yeah,
we have a joke that like when Elrond gets older and he has like he grew up that way, and then Elrond kind of helps like this people come to be with him, like Aragorn and stuff, that it's like Elrond's house for sad boys. Elrond's home for sad boys. That's what it is. Elrond's home for sad boys.
Yeah,
He takes them in, and he helps them. But so
sad heirs of Arda.
Yeah, let's just say Beleg, Turin failed the Big Brother program because I don't think you're supposed to kill your mentor, Big Brother. I don't think that's part of the program.
That's probably like the worst thing to do in that program.
The worst outcome.
Sad.
You become like
the lawyers had to hush up.
Like a teaching moment in that program of just like, this is what not to do.
They have PowerPoints now for all the future Big Brother Big Sisters. Like, this is not the example of what not to do.
These are warning signs to look out for in your little brother.
The red flags.
There's like a scholarship program named after Beleg now.
That's what Aragorn got.
I hate that, but I love that.
Aragorn got. That's it. And then last scale of 1 to 10 question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good, or how did I word it? Why is Huon the goodest boy? How, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, is Huon the goodest boy?
Oh, yes. He gets a 10 for
Yes.
sure on the goodest boy scale. It's hard to compete with Huon.
Don't you wish that there was
I want to
more?
say Bill the Pony is up there with like a goodest
Bill the
boy,
Pony would be up there. I like that.
but he doesn't quite reach Huon levels because
If Bill the Pony had dialogue, maybe.
I would
Like
love
the
to
horses
see
from
what Bill the
Narnia.
Pony has to say.
Like the horses from Narnia that are like, I'm tired. You keep riding me for hours. Like, I don't want to hunt anymore. I want to go home. Like, that'd be hilarious. If Bill the Pony's like, guys, where are we even going? Why are we in this, like, like, I thought I was having a good life in the Shire.
Is this the right choice?
Yeah, it's like, or do you ever feel like when Gandalf was like, you gotta send Bill the Pony home. He can't travel with us any longer. Bill's like, where the heck am I, guys? Where am I supposed to go now? Like, am I supposed to go all the way home? Where am I going?
You want me to go back to my jerk of an owner?
Yeah. Guys.
I guess I'm on my own. Thank you.
Yeah.
Guess I'll be fine with all the orcs and, like, things that are out now. I'll be fine. It'll be great.
Let's say he found Tom Bombadil and he's living his best life hanging out with Tom Bombadil now. Him and Bill are chilling together.
Radagast. I like your shirt, by the way.
Wait, do you have a Radagast shirt on?
Yeah, Bill. I do, yeah.
Heck yes, she does.
Oh,
that's my husband's favorite character.
Oh, really?
I love him.
I feel like he deserves more fans.
Right?
People are so harsh on him sometimes. I'm like, hey, he's great. He's a good guy.
I mean, movie Radagast was a little gross, but like,
could have done with a shower or two.
Yeah, but Bill the Pony makes it back and then reunites with Sam, so it all works out for Bill the Pony.
Yeah, because he's a good boy. He's also a goodest boy. We feel like there should have been puppies of Huon someday. Like the puppies out in the world of Huon.
Like the descendants of Huon.
That'd be so cute.
Yeah.
Or we've theorized. So if Arome has all these, hounds and things like that, and he gifted this one to a guy who I frankly think is a jerk face. What were Huon's like brothers and sisters like? Who is Huon's parents, and what were they like? Like I go that route, like
yeah,
cute.
I mean, it's really a shame because like we have like the Maros horses are like descendants of like that insane horse from the Valar. Like we should have the same equivalent with Huon. Like we should have like really powerful, amazing dogs that like descended from Huon. Like we deserve more Huon in our lives.
In my brain, he's an Irish wolfhound.
You need to point that on a pillow or something.
Yeah. In my brain, he's an Irish wolfhound, and he's ginormous, and he's so adorable. So
I've seen fan art of him depicted as an Irish wolfhound.
They're cool. They're like they look like as big as ponies. They're like huge. But I would love. I think I threw it out into the universe last time. I was like, if anybody wants to do fan art of Arome with a puppy Huon, like playing with him, like, come on, I need it. Oh my God. Please. Right?
Send it out there for all the fan artists. Like, here's your challenge, please.
Please, that'd be so cute. And then the last one is more of like it's not a conspiracy because you said you don't really love to delve into that. Like if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. More of like what do you wish could have happened? Like, if in your heart of hearts, in a happier ending, where do you think the Entwives are? And what are they up to?
Oh. Yeah, that's where my like realism bites me sometimes, because I have people all the time ask me about the Entwives, and like I'm such a party pooper about it that all the time I'm just like, they're probably all dead. Like they probably all died in the Brownlands, like during the Rise of Sauron. I'm sorry. Like my realism is not the most beautiful thing at that point. So if I was delving away from that, I would love if they were actually like the Huorns that are seen in the Shire, that everyone always like theorizes is maybe the Entwives, where there's like the moving trees in the Shire. If they could be, you know, just hanging out with other trees in the Shire, I would be happy about that. I think that would be nice for them. Definitely nicer than them all being dead.
What if one of them's a party tree?
But the party tree gets burned down.
Well, okay. In the good times.
Yes. I would love if they were in the Shire and they were being celebrated by like the hobbits. Like the hobbits cared for them so much. Like that would be a good outcome for them. I would love that for them. I don't necessarily believe that that's what happened, but I would love it if it did.
Let's say the Entwives were the ones that taught the hobbits how to garden so well. They're the ones that taught them how to have beautiful gardens. I like that theory. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I can accept it. I can accept it.
In your happy heart, you're like, that's what happened. We have there's another question we asked of someone else. I was like, well, what do you think happened to the Blue Wizards if it was like a good thing? And we were talking about maybe they opened like a farmer's market out in the east, and they have like a pottery kiln, and they make their own pottery and their own kombucha, and they're like just chilling. They're just chilling out there. They're not evil.
I would love that for them too. Yeah.
Who was it that theorized that they're actually taking care of the Entwives? And because you know, we women are just so volatile, and like Entwives are so volatile, they couldn't possibly leave them to help with the war. You know, they against Sauron. They had to take care. There was no leaving them.
Yeah.
I love that.
So at the end of this, do you have anything that you would like to promote? If you want to say your Instagram handle or TikTok or YouTube or any other things like that. If you have, I think it was called Substack. I haven't heard of that one before, but we had multiple people mention it. Twitch, you know, things like that. If you would like to promote anything, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm a little more boring than some of my content creator friends, that I don't have that much going on. So really it's just Instagram is where it's at. That's like where the party happens. Exlibrismir on Instagram for Tolkien Tuesdays and any other random Lord of the Rings content I decide to make when I feel like it. I also sometimes am active on Threads. Sometimes on TikTok, but really not really. It's more just on Instagram, and that's kind of that's where to find me. It's on Instagram at Exlibrismir, and it's hopefully I'll expand someday to doing like YouTube, but as of now, Instagram's where it's at.
Hey, you'll be on YouTube with this video. When you started, so we're glad to have you.
Yes,
so,
you will.
There you go.
Thank
you. When you started your Instagram, you're starting your content creating journey, you were doing book reviews. Do you still do that? Like, do you have like an account somewhere that you're doing those?
I have an account on Goodreads, and there's a link to my Goodreads like in my Instagram bio, but I haven't been actively writing reviews very often, like recently, very much. So There's some books I've read, you know, in the past couple of years, but it's been a bit slow lately.
Okay.
One other thing I will shout out though is if you are a YouTube person, you can check out the Voices of Arda YouTube channel. I'm connected with a lot of the creators in the Voices of Arda community, and so some of my videos do get reposted on Voices of Arda. And I also participate in like podcasts and trivia that we have sometimes via Voices of Arda. So
Nice.
I sometimes will pop up randomly on YouTube via Voices of Arda. If not for my own stuff on Instagram.
And I'm gonna spell out
You're a
your
sharer.
handle. I'm gonna spell out your handle for those listening. It's at EXLIBRISMIR. So please go follow Miranda. She posts amazing content, and especially her Tolkien Tuesdays are super fun. And also, look for those fun videos that she has with Sean Astin and forgive me, I'm terrible with names. The guy who plays Faramir.
David Wenham.
Yes,
David
that
Wenham.
guy. I'm terrible with names.
It's
And
because she's been writing his name as her last name for so long. Yeah,
I
get
all
you.
my notebooks.
I can't cash this check. It's from Mrs. Faramir. So follow her on Instagram, like she said, and then there's some other fun videos with her on YouTube with. Sorry, you just said it, Arda. The
Voices of Arda.
Voices of Arda.
I got
you. Thank you. We also have a Patreon. If you, those who would like to follow us on and support us on Patreon, we are at the Sisters of the Shire Podcast at patreon.com. If you would love to become a patron, we would be so thankful, and we would love to have you. We are also on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast, and we are also on any podcast platform that you can find us on, YouTube and Spotify and other things, iTunes
Apple.
podcasts. Yes. So find us there at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. And we normally say thanks for teaching us today, but since we did learn a lot, but I would say thanks for hanging out with us today, Miranda.
Thank you guys very much for having me.
Until next time, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby. And then you can say your name.
And I've been Miranda.
Yay!
Yeah!
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!